All right, 6 races into the season. That's 1/6 of the season. Now that I do quick math.
Wow.
That was off the top of my head, too.
Flying by, too. I mean, wow.
There you go. That is right, isn't it? 1/6 of the season?
And
6 into 36. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
And we were also remarking that in the Truck Series, we've already done a fourth of the regular season.
Wow. That's hard to believe. But let's talk about some of the guys. I mean, it's, I kind of teased to go into the break, and Reid, you said one word, Ford.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't won in any of the top 3 tours.
The Dark Horse Mustang has just not, it's been fast in qualifying, except the COTA, but hasn't delivered in a race yet.
No, and I think basically they were fast in qualifying up to Las Vegas, and then basically haven't shown up. I mean, in COTA, as we were discussing in the break, they did not have a top 10 qualifier, and they did not have a good performance at Bristol. They did not have a good performance at Circuit of the Americas. You have to wonder, you've got the Dark Horse Mustang, and with its new body style, and here is the new Toyota with its new body style clearly outperforming the Dark Horse.
But Ryan Blaney still sitting there third in points, just 9 points out of the lead.
And everyone else is missing in action. So
True.
when you look at it from that standpoint, Blaney's the class of the field. Blaney's the defending champion, and Blaney's run decent. I mean, COTA, was okay, but I've never thought that road courses were his forte. So when you look at it from that standpoint, he's been competitive everywhere else. But Joey Logano, after having an off year, generally the 22 comes back fighting. We haven't seen that out of Joey Logano yet.
Yeah, the even years are his years. I mean, typically, and
Nothing.
Nothing.
I think RFK has really been the class of the Ford field, and you look at Buescher over the weekend at COTA. He started from the rear of the field and finished with the top 10, and he is under the radar, getting it done, and just kind of staying in the hunt. Keselowski, I really believe he's going to be good this weekend at Richmond. Maybe that's where he ends the 105 race losing streak or whatever it is at this point.
It will be 105, I think, after next week.
But to me, that's mind blowing. Logano not winning for as long as he has. It's just kind of crazy to me. And Ford's got to get it together. This is a new car, and they're going to get so far behind, it's going to feel impossible to catch up with Toyota and Chevrolet.
Well, except that I would point to 2022 and 2023 when Fords were nowhere to be found until the end of the season, and then they won both championships.
Well, they won all 3, right?
Well, no, 2022 and 2023.
Gotcha. Oh, you're talking about Cup, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I just look at it from the standpoint, maybe they're slow starters, but do you really want to get so down and demoralized that by the time that the playoffs come around, you don't have that momentum going into the postseason?
That's a good point.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, how long do you need to figure out, this new car, this package? I mean, we talk about it all the time. A lot of times you hear guys say, by the 600, we should know what we have. You've had 1.5 mile track so far, and that's been Vegas. You're still going to have Texas ahead. Kansas is ahead. I mean, there's going to be some more 1.5 mile tracks you're going to run before you get to the 600. Maybe you have a better gauge, at least for your intermediate package, by the time you get there.
And that's very, very likely. And if you remember, Blaney last year came out of nowhere to dominate the 600 and won it going away. I mean, that was like a flash in the pan at that time of the season. But what speaking of packages, what interested me was that after all of the talk about the new short track package and what that was going to mean at Phoenix, it hardly got mentioned at COTA. I mean, nobody was talking about the new package on road courses. It was as if everything was just the same.
Well, and did we really expect it to have a big difference on a road course?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, 3.5 miles, what are you going to see other than the long chute that there's going to be anything from an aerodynamic standpoint? Tires weren't really an issue, so it didn't give any cause. And, as we said earlier, officiating kind of overruled anything else that we were looking at. I mean, even the restart zone, because we had the stages, it really didn't come into play as much as we talked about it going in.
Well, the restart zone, I think, had an enormous effect because we went through a whole cup race without any cautions for incidents.
Right.
And so I think it did have a major effect, just moving it back toward the exit of turn 20 there, rather than having it near the start finish line, spread the cars out enough that they weren't going 8 wide.
No, it was beneficial, but because there weren't.
Well, it was beneficial unless you like cautions.
Right.
Yeah. I got an opinion about that. I'd like to see it back where it was.
You like that 8 and 9 wide stuff?
I do. Look what happened at Indy last year. 2-hour race.
Chaos.
Boom. No, there was no chaos at Indy last year because they moved it back. They moved it back last year.
And we had no stage break. So
I thought you were referring to before.
No, they moved it. They moved it back last year. We had nothing. But the one Ford team that I think has exceeded expectations is Front Row.
No question. No,
they're not getting the finishes necessarily, but I think they have shown some speed.
And heartbreak for McDowell over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the mechanical failure, that's one of those tracks where you expect him to factor in, and the fact that he didn't, it was kind of a little heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's had issues just about every week. He's got speed, but in Daytona, he spun out and hurt Byron in the process. And, or in Atlanta, rather, excuse me. And so, he's had issues all along, but they've had the speed. And, if they can just be consistent and have good pit stops and not have any mechanicals, they could win a race this year.